Hey, have you ever wished that you can pull your GitHub code directly into Snowflake, run it instantly, and manage it like a pro? In this video, I'll show you how exactly you can integrate GitHub with Snowflake and unlock DevOps for your data workflow. By the end of this video, you will not only connect these two platforms, but also will be able to understand how we can list the file, view branches, fetch the new files, how we can run those like any particular file, and even create a procedure that gonna use the existing file and everything inside the Snowflake. So welcome back to my YouTube channel, and this is going to be part 39 of our Snowflake Zero to Hero playlist. And in this video, I will be covering all this like GitHub and Snowflake integration from the scratch. We will be showing we will be talking about some limitations also. Why it is important? Because Snowflake recently added the workspace, and there you can even run your DBT codes. So in my new upcoming videos, I'll also talk about the DBT workflows and DBT workspaces. So for this, you need to complete this video. So we can connect now the remote GitHub repository directly within the Snowflake, and once linked, Snowflake creates its own local copy, and it going to clone like, and you can list down all the files within the Snowflake like you we can do it for the stages. This clone stays in sync with your GitHub repo and contains everything like branches, tags, and commit history, just like the original. So here in this video, the agenda is this, like how we can create a GitHub repo, connect GitHub with Snowflake, clone the repo into the Snowflake, view branches, list file, check codes, and fetch latest changes. And after that, we will be running few codes also. So please watch this video till the end to gain more confidence. Before that, you might have seen this diagram multiple times either on LinkedIn or into the Snowflake documentations. So very first thing is you should have a remote Git repo. If you are not having a Git account, you can create it. It's going to be like freely available. Then maintain one folder and put some files. Probably you can have some SQL files or Python files. After that, we're gonna clone this Git repo into the Snowflake. Then we're gonna sync all the files into a particular Snowflake clone repository. And after that, we will be running we will be performing these operations. Before that, you just need to remember few points. This Git repository clone in Snowflake is a full clone with all branches, tags, and commit. Here, we can get the data, we can get the latest changes using a fetch command, but if you want to push those changes from your Snowflake to the Git repo, that is limited. The limited means we cannot do by the Snowsite worksheet. Only for that, like this is possible either using Workspace, Streamlit apps, or notebooks. So workspace, notebook, we're gonna cover in a new upcoming videos, but you just need to remember this, that if I'm going to utilize if whatever we're gonna learn today, we cannot push the changes if I'm going to make any change into the existing code to my original Git repo. So let's go back to the Snowflake and see everything from the scratch. So what I'm going to do is I am going to create my GitHub schema for the first, and everything I will be creating into this GitHub schema. Now, to create a Git repo, you have two options. One, either you can simply go with the UI, and there we do have a Git repository. There you can clone it. For that, you would require a repository URL, the name which you wanted to give it, and then you have to give a API integration. And for this API authentication, if your like repository is private, then you have to give a credential secret also. Now, these are two important points. So suppose I have one Git repo, which is going to be nothing but this GitHub Snowflake script, sorry. I have given over here the name, it's a Snowflake script, but you can say XYZ. I have already the API integration, but I wanted to show it from the scratch. So we have to first set up one API integration, and second, we will be having a secret also. So how are we going to do that? So I am going to switch to the worksheet to make all the operations over here. So I'm just going to cancel it. The very first thing, we will be creating a Git secret. Now for the Git secret, if you will come in your GitHub account, you know it in your profile section, this is going to be a username, and then for the password, we will be requiring a token. For that token, you need to come in your dev settings, come to the developer settings here into the left corner and this left bottom option. And here we do have the personal access token. Pick the tokens, the classic one, and there you can click on the generate new token. And for that, you can click on the generate new token. Once this is created, like you click on that, here I have to give a password. Okay, I'm sure I have not, I did not forget the password for it. Okay, it's already saved it. So you can create it. It's for my practice. This is gonna be for that. You can simply select for this repo and all. Do you want it to use for workflow? I mean, you can just simply select for the repo. That's it, and don't select anything, and then click on generate token. Now, once you have this token, make sure you're gonna save it. Otherwise, you won't be able to see it again. You can copy this. I have already one Mac created the like 2 days ago. I'm gonna use that only. Like I'm gonna use that one only. But you just simply copy that whatever this token you have created, and then we're gonna create a secret. So the very first step is you created a Git repo over here into the GitHub account. You put some file. So if you can see in this, I have the Snowflake scripts, and in that I have one text, two SQL, one Python file. I can share these sample files with you if you want. Now if you will look at here, so I'm going to create a Git secret, but for that type is password, and here you need to give a username and password. So the Git secret is created. Now the second option is the API integration. This API integration we are doing for the GitHub. So for that, the API provider, we need to mention the Git HTTPS API. You can name it anything, like I'm giving a Git integration. So this is why we have Git int. So create or replace API integration, then the API provider, and this allowed prefix you have to pass this repo. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this repo, and then you need to give a secret, a loud authentication secret, Git secret. That means this API integration will be connecting with this prefix, with this URL based on the secret values which we are going to provide over here. So here I'm going to create this API integration, this git int. So I do have now git secret as well as the API integration. Now you can create a git repo over here and you can utilize those API integration and secret. But I will be going with the normal way, like creating everything into the worksheet. So now the step three is we're gonna create a repo. And that is where I'm gonna utilize, I'm gonna basically write the same syntax as not complicated to remember. Create a replace git repository. What is the name you wanted to give it? Then API integration and git credentials, which we have already created in step one and step two. And then the only parameter which you need to remember is the origin. And this one is going to be the particular file where you wanted to give it. For that, you can simply copy it over here. I mean, if you want to see how I have given this path, so you will go in your GitHub repo and then this Snowflake script, click on this green where you can see the code. And there we have this HTTPS path, just copy it. And if you will look at it, it's going to be the same path what I have copied here. So you're going to create this git repo. Now look at it. What it is going to do is it's going to clone it everything. So we can see the four files: emp insert, views, and Python sample. So my git repository has been created. Now we will be running the few operations, some mandatory operations. So very first thing is, once we are done with all these once we are done with all these creations of Git repo, API integration, Git secret, run the show Git repository. This is gonna tell you how many Git repository we do have. Because we have switched to the different schema GitHub, it's going to show only and only for that schema. If you want to look at it here, so go to this YouTube learning schema. There we do have the GitHub, and here you will be seeing the Git repository. Now, if you will come on the home page in the data section and you want to check how many files we do have here, come on this data pane, this YouTube learning here in the GitHub. If you're gonna click on this Git repository, Git repo, the Snowflake one, and if you're going to open it, there you will be able to see all the files. Okay, now here, if you will focus on it, there we do have two branches. The one is the main, the second is the Vishal YouTube. And here we do have one tag, which is YouTube. Okay, so the same as I mentioned that whenever we're going to clone it, it's not only just going to clone the files, but going to clone the branches as well as the tags. So here we do have the two. So if I'm going to click on it, there is one main branch and the Vishal YouTube branch. So what we do have in the Vishal YouTube branch is only one file, but in the main, I do have the four files. And if I'm going to click on fetch, that means whatever the latest changes are there, we would be able to see that. So if I click on this EMP SQL and wanted to create a new copy into new worksheets, so this is going to open a new worksheet for me with exact script. Okay, the pop-up is blocked here. So not always allow, done. And then I gonna open copy into worksheet. This will open a new worksheet to me here. So this was the script. And if you want to verify, just open this EMP SQL here. Here it's the create table employees and all that. Now what if I just make few changes into the script here? Let's say I just wanted to create table, EMP table. And I'm going to commit the changes here, commit directly, and you can just update EMP sample, updating table name, just the sample one. We are not going to not worried about whatever the comment and all that things. Now we do have a create table in EMP table, but here in this EMP, how can we get the latest changes? So for that, you will need to click on the fetch. This is how you can do with the UI, but we will be doing with the command also. When you click on the fetch, this bring all the latest changes to your repository here. Now, if I'm going to open this copy into worksheet, the new one, it should have the table name called EMP table rather than employee. We see here EMP table, and this is the employee. So that's how you can see that how we can get the latest data. But let's go back to the main R. Okay, so we're gonna see it with the help of the queries also. So once we are done with the show git repository, then you can run a describe git repository command also, and you can check it what is all API integration, who is the owner, and all those details. Now, how can I check how many branches we do have in this Git repo? There I can see there is two branches, but what if I wanted to run through a command? For this, you need to run a command, show git branches in git repository, and that whatever your git repo name you have given. We do have these two branches. What if you wanted to check all the tags maybe or the commits, then also you can get it over here. But I just wanted to know all the files from here. This is from the UI, but what if you wanted to get it from the command? So we're gonna run the same command because it's gonna act like a stage for us. Just like we retrieve the file from the internal or external stage, we're going to run the same command. But if you will be just running this command, ls snowflake scripts, this will show and this will throw an error. Why? Because it expects you to specify a scope, either a branch or a tag or a commit hash. So for this, I am going to mention the branches here. This branch is the main. And when I'm going to execute line number 46, it's going to list all the files, whatever we do have in our GitHub repository. You can even do it through the tags. And then you can check with the commit hash also. So that's how we can get all the list of file. But what if I just want to see the code inside that Python sample? For that, you can run a command, select $1, the simple one, the similarly what we used to do to look into the data of that particular file in a stage. So this gonna list down the kind of a code which we have over here. Okay. Now, I'm going to make one more changes here because this here I made a create table in EMP table. So inside that another insert script, EMP insert, it is employee, it will throw an error. So let's just edit it and call it as EMP table. And then I'm going to commit the changes. And just one more time, I'm going to make sure this is EMP table only, not table. Yes. So now I need to list all the latest changes. So let's look at it. If I focus on this EMP insert, right now, this is insert into employees only. That means if I'm going to run this command, it will throw. Why? Because first I will be running this employee table, run employee table, and that employee table won't be there because we have created emp underscore table. So let's look at here. What we're gonna do is to fetch it. For that, you need to run a command alter git repository, the repository name, and fetch. Now, if you will run the same command 55, this is gonna give you insert into EMP table. That means we do have the latest changes. So you have now two options how you can fetch from the UI as well as the queries. Now, what if I just wanted to execute those files from here? For that, the very first thing I wanted to run this emp SQL and emp insert. So you will be running a command execute immediate from, and this is going to be a complete path. Whether you wanted to give from a tags or you wanted to use it from a branches means if I wanted to go from this, that also we can do that. I am showing you. So do not get confused whether we can run with branch path or, oh, sorry, we can run with tag path. So let me show you this one, line number 64. Okay, so first let's look at it. Show tables. I should have one EMP tables. Employees, YouTube Learning, GitHub. Oh, wait a minute. No, no, no. It is actually, we need to look into this one. The tags, because in the tags, it is the previous one only. So we have to use the branches one. But you can run with the tag. You can run with the the main branch also. So I'm going to use the same branch main rather than this. Let me hit this one. Execute immediate Snowflake script branch main tag path or branch path. So don't get confused with that. Now, if you will run a show tables, you will be seeing two tables, EMP table and employees. Now let's run a second command, which is main EMP insert, and there it is now having a zero record, but it will be inserting few records. So 10 record got inserted, and if I run a command like select star from EMP table, I should see some records. Yep. So we do have, we can see the 10 records. So that's how you can execute the statement or execute the files which is in your Git repo. Now, in the last, what if I just wanted to create a stored procedure? And that stored procedure, I'm going to utilize the same simple, I'm going to create a Python stored procedure because I'm sure you have already gone through a couple of my videos where I have created stored procedure using SQL. For that, I've taken a simple sample Python file where I'm just printing the current date, the current day. It's like in the string. So it should be like 14th August 2025. So for that, what I'm going to do is I am going to write one simple syntax with the create or replace procedure, return language. The runtime version is 3.9 because till 3.8 this is not supported. So make sure you're going to write 3.9 and above. The package we are going to use a snowpark here. Okay, and then this imports means which is the path means like just like we are running this over here, so the same the entire path will be over here. So we have taken this path. Okay, and to get this path you can simply run the command list with the branches one more time. Okay, so this is this is the command and this is the complete path. I'm going to copy it so that you cannot confuse, or I mean you should not get confused, and then you just copy it over here. Now let me just run this and create procedure. Now one more thing, here I'm running this Python sample file, the handler. Make sure that whenever you are going to write any Python code you are going to have this, otherwise it will throw an error. Okay, now once you are done with this, once you have created, I'm going to create call git proc, which will be running that Python code and gonna print 14th August 2025. So this is what I have written. Today's date str. So today is 14th August 2025. I have created a Python procedure, but you can create SQL procedure also. Consider one scenario where you have multiple pipeline, multiple code over here, or probably like some insert command you wanted to run, or some create commands you wanted, some DDL one you wanted to perform here. So that you can create a stored procedure which is gonna iterate the every single file rather than just passing the execute immediate 100 times. You can simply iterate that file and then you can change it. So you can probably come up with this idea, like you can probably come up with the solutions that how can I execute if I have to perform for this 10 statement, 20 statement, or n number of statement. All right, so this is it for today. I hope you have understood how you're going to connect with this GitHub and the Snowflake, and how you can execute the some commands, how you can list the files, see the tags, branches, and everything. Now, in the next sessions, we might be focusing on creating a workspace with the help of this Git and then pushing those changes back to the GitHub. So, thank you for watching. Have a good day.